Hello and welcome new teachers to the City of St. Charles School District overview of district's mission, vision, and values for the year 2020-2021. This is Dr. Jason Seifert, your superintendent. I also have Dr. Tormala and Dr. Lewis with me. Guys, want to say hello real quick?
Hi, everybody. I'm Danielle Tormala. I'm the Associate Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction, and I'm super excited that you're able to join our St. Charles family.
And hello, I'm Rodney Lewis. I am the Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources. I'm glad that you are with us. Ready to move on, Jason?
Let's go.
Let's do it.
All right, everybody. We wanted to give you just a little bit of history about the St. Charles School District. Some of you actually may live in the community or you've attended some of our schools. And for some of you, this might be your first real exposure with St. Charles. And so we are the second oldest city west of the Mississippi, and our district was founded in 1846. So we have a strong history in our district. We're steeped in tradition. We have our administration building, which many of you probably have visited either for your interview or to fill out HR paperwork, is at the historic Benton School, which was built in 1895. We are a small urban, suburban city school district. We only have 17 square miles. So when it comes time for inclement weather, those are easy to plow and get around quickly from one side of the town to the next. We do have about 5,000 to 5,100 students. We're fully accredited. Some of the things that kind of begin to set us apart from other area districts are that we have our own employee health center. So the Bridge Health Center, you will learn more about this during the orientation, but we have a great employee health center. So when you are sick, you're not feeling well, you need to have a proactive appointment of some sort. All of those are covered by our district insurance, no copay, no sick time needed to be able to attend, and you can have virtual or in-person appointments, which makes it super convenient for keeping our staff healthy and able to be their best when we're at work working with our students. We do have several schools that are Leader in Me schools. So if you're with Knoll, Blackhurst, or Hardin, those programs are really amazing programs that help promote leadership within our district. We also have a really generous and wonderful St. Charles School District Foundation. They raise funds to help give back to all of our schools in various ways. So every year they usually have mini grant opportunities, and you will hear more about this during our new teacher networking meetings that we'll have throughout the year. But you can write grants during the grant windows to ask for funds for innovative things for your classroom that aren't either already provided through the normal budget process, and it's something innovative that you want to be able to share with your students. So they have that. Over the last 2 years, we've partnered with American Family Grant or American Family Insurance for another grant process that have given tons of funds back to individuals throughout the district and schools throughout the district for innovative practices in education. The foundation also this year, with our unique opening, has also purchased a mask and some antibacterial hand sanitizer for our teachers coming back. And so that will be waiting for you at your school. And then the last thing that I want to share is you will hear about Care to Learn. Care to Learn is a partner organization with us that's run by individuals in the district and the community that raise funds to support the health, hunger, and hygiene needs of our students. So anything that could be a barrier to learning that's related to health, hunger, or hygiene, we have funds available to help support those students and their families so that learning truly can happen for them. And so with that, if you know of any needs, our counselors are able to access those funds and those resources. So please work with them. And then we have many, many other amazing community organizations, from We Love St. Charles to Neighbor Helping Neighbor to other organizations that really come together to provide the backpack food program or other resources needed for our community and our students so that learning can be their top priority. So we hope that when you come to St. Charles with us and you begin working with with your colleagues and our families and our students and our community, you find that this is a place that you love to work. It's a great place for students to learn, and that you find that you have that strong family feel and that you love being a part of our St. Charles family.
You know, the City of St. Charles School District is the City of St. Charles School District is a wonderful school district, and we're certainly not represented by our accolades and our awards. However, it just goes to show that you know, we're being recognized in the community as being a wonderful school district for a variety of reasons. So at the top, the 2020 Pat Blue Ribbon Award, 2019 American School University Architecture and Portfolio Exceptional Design Award for our Early Childhood Center, which is an amazing place. And you should go see it. You should go see it once you arrive and check it out. It's state of the art. 2019 Healthiest Employer Award, 2019 St. Louis Post-Dispatch Top Workplace, the 2019 School Business Meritorious Budget Award, 2018 Employer of the Year for Outstanding Service from the City of St. Charles and Chamber of Commerce. And I won't read them all to you. 2017 MSBA Outstanding Board of Education and School Finance. And so just me reading a few of those, you just see that from a variety of areas, you know, we are doing exceptional work, and we'll continue to do that exceptional work.
So my next slide is schools and programs, and we have a wonderful, as Rodney has just mentioned, a wonderful state-of-the-art early childhood center. We have 6 elementary schools that serve K through 4 grades. We have an intermediate school, Jefferson Intermediate School. We have Hardin Middle School with our 7th and 8th graders. Then we have 2 high schools, St. Charles High and St. Charles West. We also have a Success Campus that works with at-risk students. We also have Lewis and Clark Career Center that we're very, very proud of. And we also have our CAPS, which is a Center for Advanced Professional Studies. Both Lewis and Clark, and the CAPS program is a St. Charles County group that all the St. Charles County school districts come together for those programs, and we are the fiscal agent for both those sites. We also have a Juvenile Justice Center where we educate students. We have a preferred family health care center that we just talked about, and also an adult and community education program for our adults in the community as well. And we also, both high schools are A+ programs. So lots of great schools and programs in our school district.
So for our 2019 student demographics reported by the Missouri Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, we have approximately 70% Caucasian students, about 14% African American, and about 9% Hispanic. With our students, we do have about 40% free and reduced lunch. So we do have families that are in fragile economic situations. And given the current pandemic, we would expect to see this number probably rise for this upcoming school year. We do have about 17 to 18% of our students receive some sort of special education, and about 7% of our students are English language learners, with the primary language being Spanish, but we have well over 20 different languages throughout our district. And then we have approximately 1.5% homeless, and again, with the uncertain times that we're living in right now, that could also expect to climb for this upcoming year. So on this slide, one of the things that also helps set us apart is our Lewis and Clark Career Center. And so Lewis and Clark actually builds a house, an executive home, every single year. And so we are in the process of finishing up our build from last school year. It was put on hold with the closure, the emergency closure. So our students will be finishing up that home this year. And that is our last home for our second subdivision that we're rounding out. And so in our future years, we have a brand new subdivision that we're going to be building behind Null Elementary. But you can see here, these are the last 6 homes that have been completed and have been sold. The last home was sold for, I believe, $415,000. So it's quite amazing what our students from throughout the county can build and put together for our community, and how well it's received by the new community members who are wanting to move into the beautiful homes.
Our next few slides are going to talk about our SS United effort to reach, teach, and empower all of our students. We're going to discuss our mission, our vision, and our goals here in just a second. But you're going to see the phrase SESD United a lot. And the reason for that is because we want to come together as a whole school district, and we have said that we want to make sure that we can guarantee a certain amount of services and a certain level of education, a certain amount of care for all of our students, no matter what school they're in, no matter what background they come from. We are going to service, we're going to reach, teach, and empower all of our students. So first of all, we have the mission. The City of St. Charles School District will reach, teach, and empower all students, the key word there is all, in a safe, diverse, and innovative learning environment. Diversity is a very key piece of our district as well, and we're going to continue to work on that this year of how we're meeting the needs of all of our students. Our vision, this is where we want to be and where we want to go, and we simply have stated that the City of St. Charles School District will be a leader of academic excellence that prepares students to be successful in all aspects of life.
So our value statement lists the statements that we stand by. We, the City of St. Charles School District, community of students, parents, staff, and patrons value a high quality education for all students, which include lifelong learning through lifelong learning through from early childhood through adult education, rigorous learning experiences, which is really important and a staple of our district, our rigorous curriculum, meeting the instructional needs of a diverse community. We know that we have students that come from us from a variety of backgrounds, and we're doing everything we can to meet their needs. Real world and critical thinking, problem solving skills to help prepare our kids for when they leave the City of St. Charles School District and start to tackle their adult lives. Strong engagement with the family and community, a safe, secure, and nurturing environment for all of our students. And as Jason talked about earlier, we talk about diversity, but we're talking about diversity in a variety of ranges. We're talking about ethnicity in terms of diversity, obviously gender diversity, but we want to celebrate each student as an individual as they navigate our school district. High quality staff. We know that it's very important that we have high quality teachers in front of our students giving that rigorous curriculum. So, it's a goal of ours to retain and hire highly qualified and diverse staff, provide that professional development to make sure they're up to date with the latest research and instructional practices, and empower our staff to use resources in an innovative way to enhance their teaching. We make decisions that are student-centered, focused on student achievement, data-driven. We obviously consider our viewpoints, and we definitely want to maintain a balanced budget and stay fiscally responsible. And now,
So 2 years.
Go, Jason.
So sorry, Ronnie. So two years ago, as I took over as superintendent, we really looked at this SAS United approach of what we wanted to do and what we were going to say we're going to give every student from reach, teach, and empowerment. And through that SAS United plan, then we set up our new CSIP, which is our 5-year strategic plan. And so all comes together in these goals. And so we have student performance, parent and community involvement, high quality staff, governance, and facilities and support and instructional resources. And we're going to go over these goals next of exactly how we're going to reach these goals for the next 5 years.
So in the area of student performance, our main priorities that came out of the CSIP process include obviously increasing student achievement. That's why we're here, right? To make sure our students are able to perform at the highest levels possible. And with that, we know that sometimes our students don't learn at the same pace or the same timing, and they need a little extra time and support. So we want to make sure that we have a systematic approach to intervention and enrichment for those students who already have mastered the skills that are expected. We do these things by providing high quality professional development and research-based instructional practices for our staff. And then we will talk about in a little bit about the SCSD United and the Big Rocks, and they revolve around trauma-informed schools, social emotional needs, making sure that we're taking care of our students and the mental health needs and that might present for them as barriers for their education. So we really do believe in educating the whole child, supporting the whole child and the family to make sure that they can achieve at their highest levels possible.
All right, highly qualified staff. Key for us is to recruit a culturally diverse staff. We know that we are a diverse community and we want to make sure that we have staff members and teachers that look like the students we're representing. A competitive salary and benefits. Obviously you're here, so we're happy you're here and we hope you're very content with your salary and benefits because we work really hard to make sure that our first year teachers have very, very strong benefits and a competitive salary with not only other school districts in St. Charles County, but St. Louis County as well as exploring opportunities for additional staffing to support our students in the space of instructional and mental health supports, as well as the content area specialists. I am proud to say, and I know Danielle and Jason are as well, that we have RTI specialists that will work in our elementary school. We've hired an additional social worker going into this year. And we do have instructional coaches in our elementary school, and we have content specialists serving in Danielle's department. So we're doing everything we can to supply our staff and our students with the best education and learning opportunities as possible.
Facilities, support, and instructional resources. Our key objectives are to provide excellent facilities, which we have, and hopefully you'll have a chance to get to all the facilities. We have state-of-the-art buildings and support services for the district. Ensure the safety and security, which is a huge piece of what we do for students, staff, and visitors. Provide high-quality instructional resources for students, teachers, and families. And lastly, maintain and enhance district technology resources. We're very proud of what we offer, not only our students, but also our staff in terms of technology resources.
So one of our other CSIP goals is parent and community involvement. And so we have really talked about making sure that we're centralizing and standardizing our communication methods throughout the district. Many families have students at multiple schools, so streamlining that process and making sure that we're using social media to our advantage to be able to communicate with families is a priority. And then we want to absolutely always be proactive and systematic in supporting our families. So earlier I talked about Care to Learn and I talked about Neighbor Helping Neighbor and We Love St. Charles. One of the things that's coming up on the calendar in a few days is our back to school family festival that we usually hold. I believe that this year is on August 20th. Jason, do you remember, is that the right date?
I think so.
I think that's right.
I do too.
Yes, I think it's right. So sorry about that. I was going off memory. So yes, August 20th. And so families can come and find out about all sorts of resources in our community. They can receive different supplies to prepare their students for school. It's a great way for our community to rally around our students. There's lots of other opportunities throughout the year where the community really comes together to support our families and our students. We are going to work to engage all families, so trying to get our families into the schools as much as possible, sharing information with them so that they feel connected and well informed. And then also building intentional partnerships with our community. Our community has been amazingly supportive of our district, of our teachers, our staff, and our students, from providing scholarships to providing funding for various STEM projects or early childhood initiatives or various different things throughout the community. Our CAPS program, our Lewis and Clark program, they have been tremendously amazing towards all of us. And so we continue to work on those relationships and network and let them know that our St. Charles family is bigger than the walls of our school, and it pertains out to our community. And they've been really, really amazing. And so that's an area that we continue to work on every year.
Our last area is governance, and this is primarily my area with our Board of Education. I serve 7 wonderful board members who do an excellent job, obviously a non-paid position, and leading our district. And so 3 main things we'll be looking at over the next, I guess, we're down to 4 years now, but provide K through 12 school transitions to include efficiency, strong communication with those transitions, and continue evaluation of our grade level model. So we're going to look at our schools and how we're transitioning kids from one level to the next. Maintain fiscal responsibility, which is a very, very important piece, and consider opportunities to balance resources to assure equity throughout the district. And then lastly, improve the public image of the district and continue the utilization of the SCSD United Plan. So through the SCSD United Plan has evolved 2 major goals that we have, and you'll hear those will be referenced as our big rocks. And so I'm very, very proud as a superintendent to know that when you start here in the City of St. Charles School District, I would bet that every staff member can tell you what our 2 main big rocks are. Yes, we have the SCS United Plan that set up our CSIP plan. We have a 5-year strategic plan that we just went over with you, or at least the highlights of it. But out of all of that, we have 2 areas, 2 big rocks that we focus on. One is called RTI, which is response to intervention. We're doing some mind the gap work right now with the COVID-19 closure, but that is basically meeting academic and behavioral needs in a tiered level system. And you'll hear a lot more about this because this is how we are meeting our kids' needs in the classroom. And then the student needs piece really focuses more on the mental health and trauma informed education and really meeting kids on the behavioral side of it as well. So 2 major big rock goals, RTI and student needs. Make sure you know those because that's what we're doing in our school district.
So this year, we don't have a whole lot of new assessment data to share with you since we had the emergency closure last year and all of our statewide assessments were canceled. So I'm sharing with you the information from the beginning of last school year just as a benchmark so that you kind of know where our school typically performs. And so for our annual performance report, which is basically our school district report card for 2019, our out of 100%, we received 96.8% of the possible points, which had been an improvement for our district. So the standards that looks at are academic achievement, subgroup achievement, college and career readiness, attendance, and graduation rate. And so nothing has been published for this year due to the COVID closure last year. And so when we look at our ACT scores, we have not received the 2020 ACT scores as of yet, but for 2019, our district scored a composite at 20.9 as compared to the state at 20.8 and the nation at 20.7. So we are scoring slightly above state and national averages. The next slide shows some of our Missouri assessment scores for mathematics. The blue line is the St. Charles performance as compared to the state in red. And so you can see that we 5 years ago were pretty close to the state average and pulled away, and we've stayed away from them. And then this past year from 2018 to 2019, you can see that the trajectory went up a little bit. So we made the gap a little bit wider, and our students outperformed the state at a faster rate than their statewide peers. And in English language arts, over the last 5 years, you can see a little bit of a similar story that we outperformed the state. And you can see that in 2019, we were continuing to outperform them. This is one piece of data that is new. So for 2020, we just recently received our advanced placement scores, and we are excited to announce that even in the midst of closure, when students were studying at home through virtual means, we actually saw an increase in our advanced placement scores. We did see a reduction in the number of students that took advanced placement as compared to previous years. But of the students that did take it, we saw an increase in the number of assessments that had scores at the 3, 4, or 5 level. So we are excited that our students' learning continued during closure, and we are very excited to see these positive results on the advanced placement scores.
In our school district, we're fortunate because we have 5,000 students. So we're not really small, but we're certainly not as big as some of our neighboring districts, such as Fort Zumwalt and Francis Howell. But with that said, we have 28 administrators with 536 teachers, 324 support staff, and we have 76% of our staff with advanced degrees. Our staffing ratio also makes us extremely unique. And we don't have updated data, but as of 2019, the Missouri average was for every 17 students in the class, that was one teacher. And in our school district, ours is 14 to 1. Now we've made some tweaks in that. And that'll be represented in the upcoming data. But for our administrators, for every 177 students in Missouri, there's one administrator. And for us in the City of St. Charles School District, for every 183 students, we have one administrator.
So I'm going to talk a little bit about funding and cost savings measures. So we know that in public education, funding is always a giant question mark. And so we look for innovative ways where we can cut costs without impacting the classroom. And so for us over the last few years, that has included taking our transportation in-house. Instead of outsourcing it to a for-profit company, we've taken transportation in-house. They're our St. Charles District employees, and we're proud to say that not only is it less expensive for us to do that, we feel that the quality of service that our students receive is a much higher level because they're a part of our St. Charles family. We also several years ago moved from just a regular insurance plan to a self-funded insurance plan. So because of that, our district has also been able to save some money. And then I mentioned earlier the Bridge Healthcare Center. So I believe that over the last few years with the Bridge and the self-funded health insurance, we have actually been able to save a couple $1 million for the district based upon being able to operate those ourselves. And then we also recently, in the recent couple years, partnered with the City of St. Charles for their fiber network. And so when we used to pay over $10,000 a month to Charter in order to access their fiber network, now we pay the City of St. Charles $1 per month. So it's a great partnership, and we also have a stronger bandwidth because of that. So our community has been very supportive of us throughout the district. So in 2014, we went to the community and we actually passed a no tax increase bond issue and a tax levy. And so that's not an easy feat. And our community shows up for us and they support us when we need them the most. And that bond issue and tax levy funded safety and security measures throughout our district, and it also provided some increases for our operating budgets. And then in 2017, our community passed a no tax increase bond issue, but it was a pretty big one for us. It was $47 million. And so with that, we were able to build the brand new early childhood center, which we had never had a center before. All of our early childhood classrooms had been embedded within our elementary schools. And then it also allowed us to completely rebuild Coverdell Elementary. It was an open pod concept building, and now it is a beautiful state-of-the-art elementary school. And then every school and facility throughout the district also had major upgrades and renovations as well.
So I get to share some of our bond issue projects that we have recently completed or we're close to completing. We've got some great projects. Start off with our Early Childhood Center. It's a $15 million new facility in the last couple of years for our community, and it is our crown jewel. SCHS, which is St. Charles School, or St. Charles High School, has some security additions as well as a STEM lab, roofing, HVAC, office, and cafeteria renovations, and some gym painting. SCHS and SC West, both high schools, had track resurfacing and renovations. Our SC West Stadium, new locker rooms, baseball concessions, and I think it's also on here, but they just had a new entryway put in, ticket booth, concession stands, bathrooms. That stadium is absolutely beautiful. Harris Elementary has a new bus loop to separate parent and bus traffic. Blackhurst and Hardin have a new loop and road to help with alleviate traffic on their campus. We've got a lot here. Coverdale, we talked about just a total major redo or renovation and addition there at Coverdale. Knoll Elementary had 2 additional classrooms, renovated the nurses clinic, additional parking as well. Lincoln, which is one of our oldest schools, just absolutely beautiful. Secured entry, new office, teacher workroom, ADA access to front entry, renovated library, which is absolutely beautiful, nurses clinic and counselor's office. Blackhurst had a huge renovation as well, new entry, office, secured entry, nurses clinic, fire sprinklers, hallway flooring, gym painting, additional restrooms as well. Monroe is nearing completion on some connecting hallway. They have a brand new gymnasium with a storm shelter, new restrooms, new bus lane there. Jefferson also is nearing completion with a main office renovation. They have a new clinic, music rooms, health room, renovated guidance office, new HVAC throughout the building. You're hearing HVAC and fire sprinklers, so some things that might not be things that you see cost a lot of money, but make sure that we keep the upkeep of our buildings as well. Hardin Middle School had renovated 2 classrooms and 2 classroom additions. St. Charles West has renovated wrestling and weight rooms, renovated STEM lab, new secured front entry and flooring. Our Success Campus added some restrooms and renovated some restrooms. And then, of course, we've already talked about the St. Charles West Stadium.
Our district over the years have had some major accomplishments. One is our Early Childhood Center. It's a wonderful facility. Our CAPS program, which facilitates the CAPS program for all of St. Charles County. It's very cool. We have the Triumph Academy at St. Charles West High School. The student achievement gains and closing the gap. We traditionally have smaller class sizes, high quality professional development, standards-based grading and reporting, systematic student interventions, alternative programming for students, a competitive salary and benefits, the bridge, bond issue construction, which Jason discussed earlier, a 1-to-1 at the secondary level for technology, increased technology throughout the district. Danielle mentioned that. District operated transportation, which is a huge cost savings, and our Safe Defend, which you'll learn more about doing new teacher orientation for safety and security.
So this is a very unusual school year. And so if this is your first year as a new teacher, we're going to roll with this, right? It's not a normal year. And so I don't want you to think that this year is how all future years will be. For those of you coming to us from other districts and with experience, you know that this year is going to be a little bit different. But we have a reentry plan for students coming back, staff coming back this fall. We know that across the United States, we had an emergency closure for COVID-19. Our district was closed from starting March 16th through the end of the year. We did a really great job. Our staff was amazing and did some really awesome virtual learning for students. But the real answer is that there's going to be some significant gaps for some of our kiddos when they come back this year. And so we're going to need to work to help mitigate some of those learning gaps. We also know that because of this, we created a reentry task force that Dr. Seifert helped chair. And through his work with that committee, the committee created a primary plan and then alternate plans on how we might operate. Our primary plan is the plan that we're opening with this year. And that is that our schools will be open for 5 days a week in-person learning, but that families have an option to have a 5-day-a-week virtual learning option. And so with that, if conditions change in the community or in the district does have the alternate option of flipping to a hybrid schedule. So instead of students attending 5 days a week, it would be a reduced schedule of attending 2 days a week and then having virtual options the rest of the week. Or we could actually go to full virtual for the district. The beautiful thing is that Rodney talked about one-to-one and technology. We are able to provide the technology resources for our students in order for them to be able to participate in virtual learning from home. So that's a great option to have if or when we have to employ it. So our plan right now with the opening of school is something that we're calling the SCSD All Access Plan. And so with that, students will be assigned to teachers. And we have right now, about 30% of our students that are choosing virtual and about 70% of our students that are going to return to us. And so we do know that throughout the course of this fall, we may have rolling quarantines where individuals or portions of classrooms or whole classrooms or potentially even whole schools might have to quarantine for a period of time. In that event, we do want the virtual option to be available so all students can continue their learning. And then, like I mentioned, we may have to, at certain points, flip to a virtual model for the district or potentially a hybrid model for the district. And so the plan that we have in place is that all teachers will live stream their direct instruction with students. So as you're teaching the students in class, students that are at home can tune in and receive that instruction. We'll keep all of our learning materials in our Google Classroom for all students to access. And then as students or as quarantines or as the district hybrid and or virtual plan go into place, learning can continue without missing a beat. So we do know that this plan does not come without its challenges, right? So the nice thing about the plan is that we're able to better socially distance in the classroom. Since about 1/3 of our students will be at home, that's 1/3 less students than you would have in your classroom typically. So that does give us that opportunity to socially distance. But obviously managing the classroom so that you're able to follow up with students at home versus being in person, that will have its own set of challenges. But we're going to work through that together. As everyone comes back to school, we have adjusted the calendar for the year. So instead of starting on August 24th with students, which was the original plan, we are moving the start date back with students to August 27th. And so that will allow our teaching staff to have 3 additional days on top of the 3 days that we already had embedded at the beginning of the year to help provide time for professional development and planning for the start of the year in this very unique situation. Dr. Seifert will probably want to add to this, but he says constantly, this is a fluid situation. It can change at the drop of a hat. And he's in correspondence with St. Charles County government and the health department and receiving updates continually that advise our plan as a district. So Dr. Seifert, do you want to add?
I just want to say you did a great job of explaining that, really, honestly. And I keep saying this in all my correspondence, and I know it's hard for some people to really, really understand this or trust it at this point because I know there's a lot of things going on. But we are truly in this together. We will step by step get through this tough time together. And as Danielle just mentioned, all the things that we're doing, we are ready. We still have some questions to be answered. We have some final details to still figure out, but we're going to do it with you. We are shoulder to shoulder with you. You'll see us a lot in your schools because we truly do this together. We're a family. We are SASC United. This year, our theme is now is the time to know what our essentials are, and you are essential. We are essential, and we are essential together, and we are going to meet the needs of all of our students. So with that said, welcome to our district. We're so glad you're part of our family. Obviously, if you have questions, you'll see our email addresses there. All three of us, our whole CO team, your building administrators, all the way up from our board on down. We are here to help you, support you, and you are part of the SCSC family, and welcome aboard. Dr. Tormolo, Dr. Lewis, anything else you'd like to add?
I would just love to add, when you see us out in your buildings, grab us, introduce yourselves to us, because one of the biggest drawbacks, in my opinion, of not having the face-to-face new teacher orientation is that we don't get to see you. So please grab us. I'd love to meet you individually. We are in the schools all the time, so you're going to see us popping in and out of classrooms and visiting. Reach out to us if you have any questions. We're here to support you in any way we can. So just know that we are excited to have you, and we look forward to getting to know you and meeting you face to face.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Dr. Tormolo. Welcome to the City of St. Charles School District. It's an amazing place to work, and I'm glad we chose you. Take care, and if you need us, reach out. Thanks.
Bye, guys.